Hello, Sean from Staccato here. A few months ago we were testing our new Denali swords and we put it on the YouTube site, and I got a few comments asking people about the gambeson that I was wearing, and I was going to talk a little bit about it and about the pros and cons of it. What it is, it's a screamer armour. If you do Filipino stick fighting, this is what they wear without the leather. Now, I bought this 10 years ago and I got it on a good price. It wasn't dear, it only cost $35, so it was very cheap. And when I got it, it felt a little bit bulky at the start. This didn't have the leather on. If you can see from there, I didn't get the back covered in leather. It's all soft material, and on the front and on the arms there is hard plastic or fiberglass squares put in it, and it provided very good protection. So I'll just put it on and I'll show you. So it's originally made for these short rattan sticks, which is used in the Filipino martial arts system, and there's no give in them, even though they're rattan, probably about 1 inch in diameter. Because they're so short, they do hit quite hard, and this absorbs it quite well. So before I had the leather squares put on, it was working fine. And with steel swords, you get chips in the swords and that, and as you can see, this bit of leather's coming off. It started to get frayed and started to wear. And so I got it covered in leather, and it cost a little bit more then. It did cost a fair bit more to get all this done, and it has provided very good protection. A couple of the problems with it though is before I got it covered in leather, this down here was very light and it used to flap around all the time. And when I was bouting, this would be up in the air and would get hit with a sword. And some people could think, oh, I got you. Generally not a problem here, we're all pretty honest, and most people realise, no, I didn't get you, just got the material. Also, under the arms, there's a fair bit hanging there, and quite often when I'm bouting, it gets hit there, people think they've got you, and generally again here they're pretty good, they know they haven't got you and they know I'm honest. And I will think about maybe in the near future getting them cut off, just probably about there, so I haven't got so much flapping around under there. Now, it did put a fair bit of weight to it. Before I got all this leather put on, it was quite light, one of the advantages to it, and this did put a bit of weight on it. It's not heavy for me, but maybe for someone of a smaller stature, they might find it a little heavy. And on the back, there used to be Velcro straps, and eventually after 10 years they started to wear and they weren't as good as they used to be. And once I put the leather on, the Velcro straps wouldn't hold, it would just slide straight off. And so I got leather put on the back there, riveted it on, and you saw how I put it on, and it holds fine. One of the other problems I have found with it is you've got to be careful when you're putting your arm guard on. I used to wear this arm guard all the time, and here at Hobart we're getting some really good young fencers who are incredibly quick. And I was finding with my glove, my van brace, my gauntlets and all that on, with this on top, I was getting too slow. I do a cut, and after a few minutes of bouting, I was starting to tire and trying to get the sword back into action. I was just finding there was too much weight, because this arm guard is quite heavy. There's a fair few layers in there. So all I had to do was resort to a lighter one, and no problems at all. I can move with this fine. The reason I wear this more often now than the Spez jackets is I get hot really easy. Once I get to 20 degrees, I cannot breathe in the Spez jackets. It just drains me. Whereas this thing, it's quite loose, there's plenty of air circulating under here, and I do find it a lot cooler to wear. But as I said, when I originally bought this, it was from Tan's Martial Arts Supply in Melbourne, and it cost me about $35, so it was really cheap. But by the time I got all the leather on and that, the person who was doing it, it ended up costing a few $100s, but I thought it was worth it. So that was just a brief, talk about my gambeson. And if you think it's a good idea, then yeah, I reckon it's quite good. Give it a go if you're looking for something like this. Goodbye.